Alright folks, it is January the 17th, 2015, and we got a ton of gems here. We're going to erase all this, because it's all on video. Perfect. Yeah, I like that gem, Wilded Gut. I'll probably remember that one. Or rewrite it down, because I really like it. The reason I record everything is because it's video, and it's eternal, and it lasts forever in world history. And when something is too polished and too edited, it's not exactly trustworthy. There's too much cutting out of everything. So it leaves you wondering whether or not the person or people are real, giving you the whole goods. I'm just going to rewrite that gem because I like it. Wild at Gut. But I did another field trip last night. The Journey to the Center of the Soul, it's called. It's called going to the place where God leads you and just letting Him lead you and show you things. For me, it was the place of my upbringing all the way up till grade 6, where we lived the majority of our lives before we moved out into Stickville, and everything was forever changed. Yeah, so that's what I did last night, and I got a bunch of awesome gems. Because this is the story of God. You are a part of it. He ordained you to be born where you were born and raised where you were raised. And so all the pieces of your life and your personal story are so awesomely perfect and ordained for the glory of God. That's why I'm so fascinated. I'm recording details, and I'm finding all these gems from my childhood, and I just get a flood of memories. The Lord has given me an exceptional memory for young memories. And so, without further ado, it was an awesome journey last night. I ended up driving all around the South Langley Brookswood area where we lived, and even further south, and where I grew up as a child, and everything that I experienced, obviously from basically birth, all the way up until grade 6, when we moved out into Glen Valley, east of Fort Langley, and that was just a terrible move, and things were never the same. Okay, so, but awesome gems last night, just awesome gems. And what I do is, and I recommend this for everyone, I have this little mole, it's made by Moleskine. We solved that for the number 3. It's a tiny little, fit in your pocket, you know, leather bound, sufficiently firm, but also sufficiently just stick in your pocket soft, like a wallet. Notebook, you know, with a little full page there, that I just write down the gems in as I go treasure hunting. The words from the Lord, messages from God, and places that He leads me to, and things that we solve mathematically. So, and then you just write them down. And then I come home and preach on them for the glory of God. And I have been calling this journey to my childhood the journey to the center of the soul. Because that is the truth. That's where God ordained you to be born and raised, which is literally His best. When you didn't have any power, when you didn't have any free will of your own about where you were going to live, what you were going to do, that was God. That is where He decided you were going to be born and raised, and so that's where the richest gems are, I'm discovering, and God is calling me back to that place. And I'm just getting treasure after treasure of the gifts of God and the life that He ordained for me to have in those young years, and He's taking me back there in so many ways because it was the best. It literally was the best. Okay? And boy, it's awesome. So, I'm so excited about this journey. The journey to the center of the soul. The center of the soul divides by 3. The journey divides by 3. It's a divine phrase from the Lord. You need to take it in life. The journey to the center of the soul. That means going directly back as deep as you can to your physical, geographical roots, where you were born, where God ordained you to be born and raised. You need to go there. It is your act of understanding about God and your act of healing, if necessary, and your act of worship, because you will see and appreciate the things that God did for you as a child when you were powerless, when you had nothing in this world. You had no free will to decide where you were going to go and where you were going to live. You had no, rebellion in your heart for the most part. You were free. You were innocent. You were simply receiving from your Heavenly Father. And that is the most precious place on earth. So you need to take the journey to the center of the soul. Go back to your physical upbringing place and do treasure hunting. Do treasure hunting for the glory of God. And make it a fantastic experience between you and Him, worshipful and all that. And it's amazing, the flood of memories. They say smell is the most memory-triggering sense there is. And I believe it. I have just received a flood of memories. And folks, you are a physical soul. The Lord has been totally growing me and teaching me. You are a physical person with a spirit inside of you in your gut. And you need to physically go home. There is a physical home that you were born in. It's called your childhood. But just I have had a flood of memories. As I've gone to this place and I smell the air, I just have floods of memories and details and people the Lord brings to mind. And it is so fascinating and massively enriching. And it maximizes your appreciation for local living and love and the details that God has built into your life story that are all a part of His care and love. And remember we solved the word care the other day? It equals directly half the word love, with love, being 27 and care equals 27. So I took this journey, amazingly, by Divine Ordinance, all the streets, okay, as a high-level comment, all the streets in the region that I grew up in and functioned in as a family and a child up until grade 6, all the streets are numbered. Every street in Langley, British Columbia, Canada is a number, okay? Most overwhelmingly. It's numbers everywhere, and it's just so cool. And I even had an awesome gem come to my mind where just for the words and numbers, big part of my calling here, at least for this period of my life, is I was always very good at spelling, and I was always extremely fast at basic arithmetic and multiplication and stuff. But the Lord called to my mind that I got second place. I got second place in a spelling, on like a citywide spelling contest that took place at Willowbrook Mall, complete with like an audience. It was weird. Things were so much more loving and local back then. I just have vivid memories, folks. I remember a spelling bee, a spelling contest in the middle of Willowbrook Mall. A mall. And there were people, local people, like parents and family and stuff. There were local people sitting in chairs, probably an audience of around 50 people, watching the kids on stage. I must have been in grade 4 or 5 or something, watching the kids on stage as they got eliminated as we did this spelling contest. People had time, people had love. And obviously the whole silly mortgage, I'm not even going to start preaching about the silliness with all the phony money with mortgages and that slavery, but things were way more loving and way more local. But anyways, I got second place. I can't remember which word I misspelled. I got second place in that spelling contest. And the prize was a calculator. How genius, to the glory of God. Okay, because a part of my life story is that I solve things in world history mathematically. So spelling needs to be perfect, and every letter has a number. So so a vivid memory from my childhood is I got second place in the local spelling bee, which was like citywide, and the prize was a calculator. So spelling and math. The prize for second place was a calculator for getting second place. So there you go. Perfection of spelling, okay, which is what we do in a mathematical solving of all names and words. Perfect spelling is required. And basic arithmetic with speed, okay? And so I want a calculator for the numbers thing. Just perfect. Spelling bee, calculator. It's too obvious. It's just a gem from my life story that probably only I remember. And I want to share these things in video so that you are inspired to understand that God loves you. Everything in your life has happened for a reason. It's all adding up to a beautiful portrait that is getting filled in by the day. God loves you. He has a plan for your life. He's working it out. You're not off track. He has a plan of redemption and healing and the whole thing. And you're going to have these milestones, these markers. The Israelites would do all sorts of memorabilia acts, okay, journaling, and where you would call to mind the events and the things that have happened in your life, and they are like spiritual, just life markers that are for the glory of God and who God made you. With that as an introduction, and in general, as I go out to the South Langley area, and I recommend that you even do some of these journeys at night, because remember, your gut, your soul longs to go places. Your eyes are the training wheels. Your eyes just make sure you don't crash into a tree while you're driving. Your soul is the spirit in your gut that is leading you, okay? Your gut is the steering wheel. Your eyes are the training wheels. And I even felt blessed that I was taking this journey at night, okay, so that you're less distracted by some of the visual detail, and you're just allowing, on a macro level, you're allowing your soul to guide you to the regions that you long to go to. It's awesome. So I got a flood of childhood memories, and I'm just going to lay them out here. One of the first gems that I came to was the Langley Civic Center, the skating rink there, but Ed's Market. And I'm writing this one on the board because this is so genius. But Ed's Market is the place where it's it's there to this day, and the thing is not eye-pleasing to look at. But the Lord has been just stirring in my heart and just like showing me, giving me an understanding that, Derek, even though things don't look all shiny and polished in this world, God is sovereign and He is still perfect. And it's not what things look like, you know. God is sovereign and it is perfect. It's like He's this master set designer. It's like, you know, those the set designers in any movie. Pick your movie, you know. They purposely make the set all like gritty, you know, and all these like random things, and it's all very gritty, and it's all like, you know, seemingly like, you know, grit, dirt, a bit of grime, and it's all kind of stingified and stuff to make it like real. But in that director's mind, and according to all the people that did that, it had to be placed. It was perfect. They laid out and painted those dirty details everywhere, and yet it was perfect. Okay? It had to be, you know. And that's the way God is. It's like this world in which we live is not a shiny, shimmering, glossy iPhone around every corner. It's not a shiny, shimmering, you know, gold, like shining thing. People that you meet are not shimmering light, you know, in eye-pleasing detail. But it is all perfect. It's all the way the story has to be for His own reasons. And it's about the soul. It's about the spirit, where the soul longs to be. It's called the eyes of your soul. Where does your soul feel like going? Where does your soul long to be? Where does your gut long to be? Where does your gut find rest? Where does your gut long to be? Okay? The book of Isaiah talks about this with the Christ. How the Spirit of the Lord is upon Him. Okay? And He doesn't judge after the sight of His eyes or after the hearing of His ears. It's all by the Spirit. Okay? And Jesus says, he who believes in me, out of his belly, your womb, your gut, God even placed a physical marker on our bodies to remind us where the center of our soul is. It's called our belly button. That's where the Holy Ghost lives. Jesus said, out of your belly will flow rivers of living water. And He was talking about the Spirit. The Spirit lives in your belly, and the words of the Spirit would come out and feed people. Okay? But your physical gut longs to take you places physically. And that was my journey once again last night. And the reason I mentioned Ed's Market, and we're going to solve it, Ed's Market adds to 96. And it's written in all capital letters. I saw the sign on the top of it. I was like, Ed's Market. That's where we went to get candy as kids. That's where we often spent a candy allowance. We walked to Ed's Market, and we did. I went with my brother Curtis, and our two best friends, Pete and Steve Darville. Or we would just go by ourselves. But Ed's Market was like Happy Land. And Ed's Market adds to 96 perfectly. But if you go to Ed's Market today, which you can, it's a total miracle that it's still there, it is not really pretty to look at. It's kind of run down, it's got a gritty exterior, but it's perfect. It's perfect, okay? It's made to be that way in the story of God. I'm just checking my battery. I got 4 minutes. I'm going to have to plug this camera in right now. Don't you just love honest video? Aren't you tired of, you know, dishonest presentations and commercials that everything is way too polished? You're like, someone's not telling me the truth here. Someone's not even getting honest with me. It's like, it's impossible to be real when there's some kind of act. So I'm just going to plug in his camera. You know, thank God for candid things like this, like batteries, you know, running low on video cameras, and I need to get off video just to plug it in. It's like, let's get real with each other, folks. Okay? So, there we go. Now we're plugged in. We can go for eternity. But, Ed's Market. Ed, I mean, this is so loaded, it's ridiculous. Ed's Market equals 96. Enough said. Divides by 8, 12, and 24. It's perfect. Furthermore, who does Ed's Market belong to? Well, it belongs to Ed, which equals 9. 3 times 3. In 6 strokes, which divides by 3. And the rest is just more and more threes. Like I would knit these two guys together. Or actually, ket is a famous, you know, combination, but you can do all sorts of stuff. You go rent, just knit it together any way you want. In 9 letters, Ed's 3 plus 6 letters. It's all pure threes, okay? And when you speak 9 letters, it divides by 3. The more you look, the more you see. So Ed's Market. That's a big gem in my childhood. Remember, child and hood both divide by 3, so childhood divides by 3, starting with the letter C, which is 3. So Ed's Market is a big gem in my childhood. We would walk there. And the Lord has been speaking to me about walking, and it's a sickening generation. It's now a sickening generation. There's way too much machinery, way too many automobiles. people should walk way more. Mankind walked for 99.9% of human history. God knows what he's doing when he has everyone walking for that much period of time. It's happiness, folks. And of course, up until grade 6, you did not have your driver's license. And the Lord was just showing me how that was the happiest period of my life. Everything up until grade 6. And so God is just cutting out all these stupid, demonic, bondage, like antisocial, like technology worshipping pieces of junk that are actually killing human souls and killing love and killing relationship and killing real relationships and killing heart and health and outdoors and nature and just, it's all just death, you know. Yeah, like we walked to Ed's Market with joy, or we biked. We had, and then here's another one, BMX. We had BMX bikes, and BMX by Divine Ordinance divides by 3 in 3 letters, and bike divides by 3. BMX. Have you ever wondered why it's called BMX? Like, why do we know those 3 letters? Well, it's for the glory of the Trinity. B plus M is 15, X is the final letter, divides by 3, that's 15 plus 24. That equals 39. Amazingly, that equals my last name, Kubi, which equals Nike. And I have always loved Nike since the dawn of childhood. That has been my sports brand, my shoe brand, my clothing brand. Okay, to this day. So BMX equals Nike equals Kubi for 3. And then the word bike divides by 3. That is, you see how easy this is? Okay, 11, 16, 18 plus 9 is 27. Perfect cube of 3. So altogether a BMX bike equals 66 perfectly for the number 3. But we would, and the old bikes had the foot brakes, man, like foot brakes where you could just crank on that brake and lay some rubber on the concrete. None of these hand brakes, man. It seems to me that the more technology and like comfort sometimes and safety that man implements into all of the things that we use, the more annoying life actually becomes. We're killing all the hearts of men. Everything is so bloody, safe, and fearful now. It's a sickening generation of fear. It's like kids can't even run anymore. It's like next thing you know, there's going to be like an international law that says like kids are not allowed to run lest they get hurt. Like, come on, it's like, it's just ridiculous. But back in the day, man, the BMX, we always rode our BMX bikes. There was no helmet laws. You didn't even have to wear a helmet when you rode a bike as a kid. It's freedom. It's like, come on, people. Let God be God. He's loving. He's going to take care of you in Jesus' name. You don't need to walk out into the streets with like football gear on every day, as if the world was like this evil bombardment of like ice and snow everywhere you went. Like seriously, anyways. But as a kid, we like BMX bikes, man. I got vivid memory, man, of that thing. You know, little styrofoam like front thing. You know, the nice solid like V-bar handles like that. You know, and you could just reef on the brakes with your feet, just like crank. If you wanted to stop, foot brake, just crank. And then you could whip the bike, and we burned rubber on those things all the time. It was like the funnest thing to do with a kid, as a kid, was just ride that thing as fast as you can, hammer on the rubber, and just let it slide. And no helmets, no ridiculous, okay. But we would ride our BMX bikes, or we would walk to Ed's Market with less than $5 to spend. Things were way more sane back then. Things were not overinflated, and we would buy candy like Fun Dip, Nerds, you know, Soda Pop, Bubblicious, Double Bubble, Sour Keys, whatever, Skittles, all that stuff. But Ed's Market had some 96. And then Ed's Market was right across from the Langley Civic Center. which was the local ice rink. And the Lord has just been speaking to me about local living and how you don't need to go anywhere far to get the full happiness that God ordained for you. God is the king of efficiency. God is so fast and he's so efficient with his time and with his money, if you will. And the Lord has been speaking to me about local living and said, Derek, everything that you needed in life to be completely and totally happy was within literal walking distance of your physical house where you grew up. Because that's the way God designed the world, is it would be maximum pleasure and maximum efficiency. And now the world is full of lost children. And the Lord has been speaking that to me, saying, Derek, it's like foster land out there. It's like everyone has believed all these lies that they need to sail all these crazy destinations and move far away from home and move away from their biological family and move away from their childhood and move away from where they grew up and go somewhere exciting or go somewhere foreign. I need to go on a crazy missions trip to the other, it's like, no. God ordained, most of that activity is a result of restlessness, which is a result of pain and unforgiven sin or some form of rebellion against the God who is love. Maybe you have a brokenness in your biological family that God is able to heal. Maybe you, whatever, you did not have, I'm not even going to start, but, so last night, I went to the Langley Civic Center, the famous ice rink that we went to where I grew up, and everything is still the same. And I walked in there, I'm not joking folks, I walked in there at 10:15 p.m. at night. There was no security guards, there was no lock on the door, there was no ticket person anywhere. I was like, but the parking lot was half full, or a third full. I walk in there, and there's a local ice hockey game going on, complete with all the nice uniforms, all the nice jerseys. The bench is full, and there's parents and family and friends sitting in some of the bleachers on either side. The place is not full. But I just literally walked in, and now I'm watching a fabulous, beautiful ice hockey game with the refs all dressed up in all their fantastic, uniform with all the sharp-looking uniforms and the nice skates and CCM and Bauer and all these brands that we picked as kids, and the Lord is speaking to me. He's like Derek, this is free of charge. This is free. Your local games are free. Stop going to the stupid NHL games downtown, wasting your money, stressing yourself out for what? For nothing. You've got all that is there. You've literally got the exact same as the NHL in your local ice rink. With your local team, with the local kids, with your friends that you can walk to the arena. It's free of charge. The whole experience is way better. Get local, people. And I'm just like, man, and I was enjoying the game. I was like, this is entertaining. And I got front row seats. I was right up to the glass. And I could walk anywhere around the arena. I could walk anywhere around the glass and watch the local game. I could be right behind the goalie and get some of the action on some of his saves. I mean, the guy was stacking the pads. It's like, okay, he wasn't stacking the pads, but I would have loved to see that. And then I could literally go anywhere in that arena. I could, free of charge, completely free, watching the local hockey games, and it was good quality, man. I mean, I don't know how old these kids were. I'm guessing they're teens or something, but they were cranking the slap shots, and they were everything. The puck was flying all over the place, and it was tidy, and it was awesome. Free of charge. And I walked in there at 10:20 p.m. and I was just like, good gracious, here's a free hockey game. Everything is the same. There's not a thing missing that you would see at a stupid NHL game. And the reason I'm calling the NHL used to be better. I'm not even going to start talking about it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. People, you need to get local. Get local. Get some friends, get some family, and go to your local game. And start supporting the people you live around. And it's disgusting, you know. Just stop worshiping this stupid, tiny little league. You know, get local, support your children, support your friends, support your community. Like, and I guarantee you, it's more pleasurable because if you do it God's way, you'll be blessed. But it was awesome, and the stands were not full. I could have sit just about anywhere I wanted, it was awesome. But the Langley Civic Center, I got a flood of memories when I went there. The Langley Civic Center, now it's called the George Preston Arena, but originally it was called the Langley Civic Center. Like, it was the official rink of Langley. Okay? And there's so much heart in that rink, way more. Now you go to the Langley Event Center, which I live close to, and I do like, you know, it's fine. Here on 200th, but the place feels cold. It feels like commercialized. I'm like, I would far rather go to the Langley Civic. You'll see what I mean. I guarantee you. Anyone who's been to both know what I'm talking about. Folks, it's time that people got heart in what they do. And everything wasn't a dumb business, and it wasn't a dumb enterprise, and it wasn't a dumb investment that you were hoping to get money out of and turn a profit off common people. What is this? This is satanic. You know, we're going to create something to, you know, with the mindset that we're going to harvest money from people. Anyways, but the Langley Civic Center is this beautiful, intimate hockey rink. It's intimate, and that's the goal, and it's wood. The roof is beautiful wood, and the benches where you would lace up your skates were just simple wood. And there's something about wood that is just so much more homey and natural. And human heart, I mean, we were created in a garden of trees. That's what it is. I mean, but it has this epic, beautiful wood roof. It's not oversized. It's a small rink with small stands, and it is pleasure. You go to any of the modern junk, one of these stupid, big, cold stadiums, you're like, man, I just feel like this is so empty. It's so cold, so non-local, so non-happiness, so non-heart. There's no heart here. There's no family here. There's nothing here. It's a big, dumb, sickening commercial enterprise. It's like, stop supporting these dumb things. Support your local arena. You'll have more happiness. The Langley Civic Center. And but we went there often as kids. Here's another cool thing. The entire floor and lobby in that place is rubber. It's awesome, and you smell it. So that you can walk in with your skates. And you can walk around the entire lobby with your ice skates on. The whole floor is rubber. The whole floor is rubber. And that's what I remember about that place. It was just like, see, now, like, any new building wouldn't be constructed like that because, well, I think they still do. But the lobby, like, as soon as you walked in, it was like rubber. And there were people walking around on their ice skates. It's like, you know, buying stuff from the concession stand with their ice skates on and all that. I remember, yeah, we used to get along with liquor store and stuff, but so yeah, that was the local rink. Still there, and as heart-oriented as ever. But you know, all wood construction, very heart, and small and intimate. And folks, I did not go to the Trinity Western volleyball match last night at LEC because I'd rather go to the Bearcats match. Okay, I'm just saying, it's smaller, it's more intimate. Support your local. Anyways, okay. But anyways, so and then I got a gem there, Daktronics, while I was at the arena, and I write it down. Daktronics is the company that produces all the score clocks, at least in that hockey arena. Probably a lot more. I think they do score clocks for all sports. But Daktronics I saw on like all the digital number displays in the hockey arena, including the big scoreboard. What is it called? Jumbotron? Whatever. The big center. Daktronics. Well, I do the math on Daktronics, and that divides by 3. What does that add to? 25, 36, plus 33 is 69, plus 33 is 102, plus 12 is 114. Divides by 3. Daktronics. And then you can knit it together with all sorts of 3s, like, you know, these 2 guys divide by 3, these 2, I put these 2 guys together, and like this. Whatever way you want. It's ordained by heaven, okay? Daktronics was ordained by heaven to have the exact name that it has for the number 3 for the Triune God, okay? Who is love. So there you go. Perfect. See, so you write these things down. You just write these little gems down in your little travel book. Ed's Market equals 96. Daktronics. Just write it down. It's a gem. The word score divides by 3. Okay? And then, next on the list that I wrote down, so after that, my next gem was Noel Booth Community Park, where I would play a ton of soccer games throughout my upbringing. Certainly every Saturday morning. Sometimes I think they would pick a weekday night as well to do an exhibition game or 2. And I remember my coach, Ed, Coach Ed we called him. See, there it is again. Gems. Ed is 3 times 3. Coach Ed, and then Coach divides by 3. Coach Ed, I think it was Ed Mulligan or Ed Murdoch. Ed Murdoch. I believe his last name was Murdoch, and he had a son named Tyson. And me and Tyson were the best players on the team because we were the fastest. Tyson was short, I was tall. He was a zippy little guy, and he would score a lot of goals, and I would score goals as well. I was a better passer. I was a much better playmaker. And I had a great sense for open space when I played soccer and passing. But it was always me and Tyson that did the kickoff at center field. And Ed Murdoch, it was either Ed Murdoch, yeah, I think his name was Ed Murdoch, was the coach. This is probably between the periods of grade 2 and grade 6, maybe even younger than that. Probably even younger. We got into sports very young. Maybe even like grade 1. Okay. Noel Booth Community Park. Okay. Noel Booth Community Park. And I went out there. And I went down onto the field. And the smell. How fitting. By the way, sneezing divides by 3. And on and on and on. Just like burping, okay, and farting, and all these other output mechanisms God ordained. Those are some of my favorites. Snoring divides by 3, sleeping divides by 3, sneezing divides by 3, farting divides by 3, burping divides by 3. Okay, so yawning divides by 3. All those things that you did as a baby divide by 3. Sucking divides by 3. Okay. So now. So I went out to Noel Booth Community Park. Let's write it on the board. We'll do the math on it. Appreciate the letters. We've already solved Ed's Market and Daktronics. That's the beauty of video. Just make a new, clean slate here. What do you know? I'm just going to... I like erasing everything here. Wow, good. It's a new day. So Noel Booth. Community Park. That is the official name of it. It divides by 3. What does it add to, seeing as we're in the neighborhood? 27 plus 18, hold on. 27 plus 21 is 48, plus 30 is 78, 98, 106, plus 13 is 119, 132, plus 18, 150, 171, plus 45 is 216, plus 9, 246, 246 plus 5 is 255, plus 12 is, plus 30 is 285. There you go. 285, which divides by 3 is 3 times what? 100 minus 5, 95. Which has a lovely 8th prime in there, times the 3rd prime, 5, okay, I can talk about that, 8th prime, whatever, okay, but 3. Noel Booth Community Park. Okay, so that was the place where I played a ton of soccer as a kid. And when you go to these physical locations, you feel everything, and you get the smell, and the smell of the place, and the smell of the air, and there's beautiful trees around it. It's like playing in a garden of trees, like Eden. The smell of the air, complete with the smoke from the chimneys at Brookswood, and all the plants that are still there, just a flood of memories. And it was LYSA, Langley United Youth Soccer Association, both the acronym and the full text, divide by 3 by Divine Ordinance. First 2 letters divide by 3, next 3 together to make multiple 3. LYSA, Langley United Youth Soccer Association, the full text divides by 3. The colors of the jerseys were all blue and gold. Okay? And that is a divine combination that we solved many times before for the number 3. It's too obvious. 9, 3 times 3. 9, 3 times 3, and then center letters divide by 3 in both blue and gold. It's the most beautiful gem of all time for the number 3. Literally, just insane. Okay, and then 60 in the center, it adds to 78. But letter by letter, it's just stunning in the 3s. So the jerseys or uniforms were blue and gold. You would, we would wear the blue. They were reversible. You took off your jersey. Oh man, those things were, to this day, those things were kind of uncomfortable. I think I always wore a t-shirt underneath mine. Yeah, I always wore a t-shirt underneath mine because I liked cotton so much, and those things were like this. Ew, they weren't bad. They really weren't bad. But I think they were kind of insulating, that was the idea. But yeah, you would wear blue for the home game. They were long sleeve too. I think that's what it was kind of known. You wore blue, and of course the jerseys all said LYSA on them. Langley United Youth Soccer Association. But you wore blue for the home game, and then you wore gold. And by the way, the word gold is the same offset as the word yellow by Divine Ordinance. So whether you say blue and gold or blue and yellow, that combo divides by 3 to the glory of the Trinity. So you were blue if you were home, and then you were yellow if you were away. And then they had the skimpy, lightweight blue shorts. Everyone had the skimpy, lightweight blue shorts. And you had the long soccer socks. Remember the long soccer socks? They were like this long. And they were blue. They were all blue with 3 gold stripes on the top for the number 3. There's another 3 gold stripes, and you could just cinch those things. Like, those things were long. They were comfy though, man. And to this day, I still like long socks. To this day, I still like long socks. They make me feel fast. I think there's something about that squeeze around the calf muscle that just kind of makes you feel a little bit nimble. But you could hike those things up like past your knees easily, man. Like, those were socks, man. Those soccer socks were a pleasure, and they were soft, man. Like, somehow they made even like the toughest cleats like comfortable. Those things were padded. Man, I want a pair of those soccer socks like right now. It's Saturday morning, by the way. It's Saturday morning at 7:26 a.m. I might make a journey out to Noel Booth Community Park and see some Saturday morning soccer. bring some orange slices like we always brought. Our family, my mom very often did the orange slices. Very frequently. It was our family that brought an ice cream bucket full of sliced oranges. And we would just devour those things at halftime. And remember, you just throw the peels onto the top of the ice cream pail. Like there was like 2 ice cream pails of like orange slices, and the kids would just like dig in, just like shove them in their mouth, and like I wouldn't even like pull. I still remember I wouldn't even pull like all of the fruit off of the peel. I would just like shove the thing in and squeeze the juice out, and I would just like push the like peel like, you know, into my cheese and just squeeze all the juice out, and I'd like toss the thing in the, you know, with all the like pulp just sitting there. To this day, orange juice is like my favorite orange juice. But anyways, it's so important that you pick up all of these details and these gems that God gave you in your childhood, when you were innocent, when you were pure, when you were undefiled, when you were happy, when you were free, and you re-implement those things into your life today. Okay? It's so important for you to do that. Okay? Partner with God. God ordained you, you know, to have the good things that you had in your childhood when you had no power to decide for yourself. Revisit those things. Re-implement them into your life now. So, the jerseys were blue and gold, which we just did the math on. Long sleeve, like, but the socks, man, you could just hike those things up. And to this day, I still love long socks. And it seems to me that just about anything that gets invented these days, sadly, is based on profit motive. And that's why I despise most new products these days. Because they're not new. They're not really for benefit. It's a money lust. It's a desire to try and like just get money. And that's why I typically like the traditional things. Because there was heart in those days. There was joy in those days. There was family in those days. Possessions were simple back then. But anyways, so you could just hike those socks up. And we had the shin pads that were like generous. Like everything was just more homey and feel good back then. It's like, by way of comparison, now they've got the stupid ankle socks. Folks, that was the biggest like money invention of all time. Like, fine, there's a place for ankle socks. Yeah, I do still like ankle socks to some degree, but they make ankle socks so like tight and like skin flinty, and like it's just like, man, the thing's like sucking the life out of your. Anyways, okay. And shin pads back then were like padded, you know, lots of fabric on them. Now there's like these cheap plastic things with like these straps. I'm like, why don't you just be more old school? I swear, most of the old school styles were way more homey and way more comfortable. Okay. And there was way less superficial image focus. Things just felt better. But we had, and we solved a lot of these things the other day. Shin pads and cleats divided by 3. Soccer and field divided by 3, of course, and all that. Ball, perfect cube of 3. Yeah, just a flood of memories. I always loved the right wing, just details. The old soccer trophies, it was great. It was local community. Parents were out there in the mornings, just a lot of people around. Orange slices at half. Ed Murdoch, a great coach. Tyson, his son. Spunky, feisty little kid, he was hilarious. Ironically, he's like the only player that I remember specifically from that team. But there was way more heart in it. And the smell triggers a ton of memories. So I might even go out there this morning and watch some local soccer. Okay, so what else? So that was Knoll Booth Community Park. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. I got some other gems here that I was getting. When we collected hockey cards as a kid, I would always get Upper Deck, which adds to 99 and 9 letters by Divine Ordinance. Tony Tanti divides by 3. He was one of our favorite Canucks players. Back when hockey was much more of a heart game than a commercial enterprise. Lego was basically the favorite toy for us boys. That was basically staple at Christmas. Lego, we solved 1,000,000 times for the number 3. Okay. Lego, 12 plus 12 plus the famous O ending divides by 3. In fact, Lego equals Kubi equals Nike. So now I know why Lego and Nike were my 2 favorite brands growing up. Which means there's still like 2 of my favorite brands. Look at Lego. It's got the L and O from love in it. But what's really cool is the 2 12s here and then God's favorite letter O for the number 3. Lego. And the 3 colors of the Lego logo, yellow, red, and white, okay? You can knit those together to make a multiple of 3 because remember, yeah, we've done it in black. Sorry, you need to add black in there, but we don't need to do that now. But Lego equals Kubi, my last name. 12 plus 12 plus 15 is 24 is 39. That's amazing. Lego equals 39. My last name, Kubi, is 21 plus 18. 39. It's my last name, Kubi. And then Nike equals 39. Paralleling my last name with the second letter dividing by 3, sharing a K, and an E, and then the B and the N knit together. Like our last name in Nike is so parallel, it's ridiculous. But these were my 2 favorite brands, basically. Growing up as a child, and they're still, therefore, my favorite brands today.